Alexander Salas?
Yes.
Dang, man.
He always puts in answers. Unlike you, who just sit here and talk with me.
Bugs.
Hey, that's a good.
It's alright, it'd be like that though. Be like that.
Okay, so I'm going to distribute this, right? So I get 4 times 5 is 20m squared. And 4 times 3 is 12m. And 4 times 8 is negative 32.
Wait,
Done.
how'd you get 20?
Because 4 times 5 is 20.
Oh.
Right? Because I'm distributing that 4, and that means I'm multiplying, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And this way I'm multiplying by a 4th, right? So I'm distributing a 4th through there. And distributing by a fraction or multiplying by a fraction is like dividing by the denominator. So 16 divided by 4 is 2x squared. And 24 divided by 4 is 6x. And 40 divided by 4 is 10.
Wait, could I ask how you got 12m and 32?
Yes, 4 times 3 is 12. And 4 times 8 is 32.
Oh, so that's what this. Oh.
So you can also think about it like this. If I did a multiplication table, right? And this is 4, and this is 5m squared, 3m, and negative 8, right? So 4 times 5n is 20m squared. 4 times 3 is 12m, and 4 is negative 32. Does that help a little bit to think of it that way? Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
So you can think of it as a multiplication table, and that works really well.
Okay.
Okay? And either way is fine, like you draw the little loopy things, the little arches, or make a little multiplication table. I don't care, whichever way you want to think about it. Okay?
Yeah.
So number 3, I'm going to distribute an 8 through. So 8 times 2 is 16w, and 8 times 3 is 24 minus 5w. And then I've got 2 like terms, 16w and negative 5w, which gives me 11w plus 24. And then for number 4, I'm going to distribute twice because there's 2 sets of parentheses. The first thing I'm going to distribute is 2, and the second thing is negative 1. Negative 1, even though there's not a 1 there. If there's a negative by itself, there's a 1. So I'm going to distribute 2 first. So I've got 8 still. That's still by itself. 2 times 7n is 14n. And 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. And negative 1 times 10n is negative 10n. And negative 1 times 15 is negative 15. And then my like terms are 14n and negative 10n. And 8 and negative 2 and negative 15. So we've got, let's see, what do we got? 14n, and then 6 minus 15 is negative 9. And I totally did the first part wrong. 14 minus 10 is not 14. 14 minus 10 is 4. Yeah, I just put the 1 in front. Sorry about that. Don't know what I was thinking. Wow, okay. I told you I make mistakes all the time.
We all do.
Yep.
Oh no, that was number 6.
And I'm not one of those teachers who pretend I don't make mistakes, just so you guys know. I make mistakes all the time. As you've already seen this year so far. You know who I'm talking about, Mateo. There's those teachers out there.
Cahoots, huh? All the cahoots.
Well, yeah, but those cahoots weren't mine. Usually I get those cahoots from, they're already made.
They're like being made, kinda?
Yeah, other teachers make them. I just search through and find ones I like. I I should know better to go through and check them and to make sure they're right. And sometimes I have time and sometimes I don't. So, yeah. Okay, so yesterday we did the distributive property. Today we're doing the double distributive property. I know, right? So I'm distributing twice. Okay, so this says let A, B, and C be real numbers again. And so I've got, I'm going to just kind of zoom in on here. I've got A plus B times A plus C. So what I do is I do I do A times A, and that gives me A squared. And then I do A times C gives me AC. So that's distributing once. Now I'm going to distribute a second time with the second letter in the first parenthesis. B times A gives me AB, and B times C gives me BC. And there's my answer. So I'm distributing twice in the double distributive property. That's what double means, twice, right? So I'm just distributing twice. I distribute first with the first letter in the first parenthesis, or number, whatever it happens to be. And then I distribute the second number through the whole second parenthesis. Does that make sense? So for the second one, it would be A times A is A squared. A times negative C is negative A. Okay, and B times A is AB, and B times negative C is negative BC. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple different ways again to do it again today. So we have some examples. How to solve it again is I'm going to distribute first and again combine like terms. So it's just like distributing. I'm doing exactly the same thing, same steps. I'm going to distribute, then I'm going to combine like terms. So if I look at my two examples I have here, I have one that are both plus plus and one that are both plus minus. Okay, both plus minus. Wow. Okay. So x times x is x squared. X times 3 is 3x, 6 times x is 6x, and 6 times 3 is 18. And then you combine your two like terms together, which are these ones, and I get x squared plus 9x plus 19. Jonathan. Is there any questions on that? Is that not too bad? Same thing, and it's the same thing with my different signs, only my signs are different, right? So I've got x times x is x squared. X times negative 8 is negative 8x. 3 times x is 3x. And 3 times negative 8 is negative 24. Again, combine your like terms together, and I get x squared minus 5x minus 24. Okay, questions? Are we okay? Okay. All right, so now we're gonna do some actually, and I'm gonna do it two different ways. I'm gonna do it the way I just showed you, where I have the little rainbow effect, going on. So I'm gonna do that one first, and then I'm gonna do it using a multiplication table, which I like a little bit better, especially if it helps organize a little better. So it just depends on which way you want to do it. So the first one I'm going to do is x times x is x squared. And then x times 7 is 7x. And then 9 times x is 9x. And 9 times 7 is 63. Combine all my like terms, I get x squared plus 16x plus 63. And there's my answer. Please make sure you're asking questions, okay? So that's one method of doing it, is it's called FOIL. It's an acronym for first, outer, inner, last, which terms you multiply. I just like calling it double distributive property, and make sure you're distributing it with my little rainbow thingies. And I do it every single time I do it every single time I do it. So I draw the little rainbows, or if I choose to do it the multiplication table, because I do it both ways. So sometimes I'll do it this way. So I'm going to draw a multiplication table, right? It's just a square. And because I have 2 terms in each of my parentheses, it's going to be a 2 by 2. So I've got m minus 4 and 3m minus 8. Do you see my 2 by 2? I've got m minus 4 there and 3m minus 8. So one goes horizontally and one goes vertically. And now I'm just going to do multiplication table, right? You guys know how multiplication table works, right? I go 3m times m. So this is a multiplication table. 3m times m gives me 3m squared. And 3m times negative 4 gives me negative 12m. And m times negative 8 gives me negative 8m. And negative 8 times negative 4 gives me 32. And the nice thing about doing the table is my like terms are always on the diagonal. So always on the diagonal. And if we have more than, so if I have like this is a 2 by 2. If I have a 2 by 3 or 2 by 4 or 3 by 3, no matter what, my like terms are always on the diagonals. So now I'm just going to write out the answer. So I've got 3m right here, 3m squared. So that equals 3m squared. Now I'm going to take my diagonal here and add that together. Okay, so that's a negative 8 minus 12, negative 20m. And then the last one I have is just my last little box, which is my last term. So plus 32. Okay, that's it. That's how you do the double distributive property. So now you have A and B to do. So here we go. So I'm going to do this one. Oh, as soon as I get a pen instead of a highlighter, I'm going to do this one as a multiplication table. So I've got 1 plus 7h and 6 plus h. So that's 6 and 42h and h and 7h squared. So I should get 6 plus 43h plus 7h squared. And if you wrote it the other way in descending order, that's awesome too. Not a problem. Good job. So this one I'll do the FOIL method. So x times 2x is 2x squared. And x times negative 8 is negative 8x. And negative 5 times 2x is negative 10x. And negative 5 times negative 8 is plus 40. So I've got 2x squared minus 18x plus 40. Okay? Not too bad so far. We're doing okay. Okay, so next one, pretty much still the same. Just have numbers with everything on this one, right? So the last one, at least the last couple's always had at least one variable by itself. This time there are no variables by themselves. It doesn't matter. We're still doing the same thing. So I'm going to choose to do the multiplication table. So I've got 3x plus 4 and 4x minus 5. So that gives me 12x squared plus, let's see, 16x minus 15x minus 20. And then if I combine my like terms, which are the diagonal, right? So I would give me, for my answer, 12x squared minus 1x minus 20. Now you don't have to put the 1 with the x. I could have written just x. Either way is fine. Okay, so now I want you guys to do part C. So Nice, Jonathan. Okay, great. Distribute, right? 2W. Oh, why do I always do that? Okay, 2W times negative 5W is negative 10W squared. And 2W times 8 is 16W. 3 times negative 5W is negative 15W. And 3 times 8 is 24. So I should get negative 10W squared plus W squared plus W plus 24. Done. Okay? Please make sure you're asking questions if you're not understanding. The next one's the same, only instead of having one variable, I have two. But guess what? I'm doing exactly the same thing. So again, I'm going to choose to do the first one with a multiplication table. I shouldn't have written that big, but negative 2x plus 5y, and then 2x minus 3y. So I've got 2x times negative 2x is negative 4x squared. And 2x times 5y is 10xy. And negative 2x times negative 3y would be 6xy. And negative 3 times 5y would be negative 15y squared. So I've got negative 4x squared plus 16xy minus 15y squared. Okay? So I'm going to give you okay, I have a pen. That's good. So if I distribute this, right, 6x times negative 3x is negative 18x squared. 6x times negative 5y is, let's see, what is this? Negative 30xy. Negative 3y times negative xy is positive 9xy. And negative 3 times negative 5y is positive 15y squared. Add my like terms together and I get 18x squared minus 21xy plus 15y squared. Nice job, you guys. The two of you who are putting answers in the chat box. Good job. Okay, so we're on to the last two problems, and then guess what? We're done with the lesson. These two today and yesterday was really short. Well, today and Tuesday, sorry, were really short because it's just a distributive property. So I'm going to definitely do this one. So usually, probably 90% of the time, if I have something bigger than a 2 by 2, I choose to do the multiplication table because for two reasons. One, it organizes it really nice and neatly, so I don't lose any terms. So that's why I like to do it that way. That's the biggest reason, is because it makes it nice and neat, so I don't lose anything. So that's why I'm going to do that this way the first time. So I need a 2 by 3. So I need a 2, and then I need 3 this time, not 2. So I've got 2 that way, and then I need 3 here. So no matter how big, how many are inside my parenthesis, how many terms are inside my parenthesis, I can make a multiplication table that big. So notice this is a 2 by 3, so I can do a 2 by 3. If it was a 3 by 3, I'd have 3 rows and 3 columns. If it was a 3 by 4, I'd have 3 rows and 3 columns, or 4 columns, or vice versa, because it doesn't matter which way I put it, just as long as I know that one column, one side, either my columns or rows will be 2, and my other column or row would be 3. Okay, so it doesn't matter if I'm doing the 2 on my rows or the 2 on my columns. It basically is what I'm saying. Okay, so here I go. So this is 7n minus 1. And then I have n squared minus 10n plus 15. And now I'm going to do a multiplication table. Now this is really a multiplication table because it's more than 1 by 1. A 2 by 2 is fairly easy. This one's a little bigger, and it's got 2 diagonals, but all my like terms will be on those diagonals. I'll have 2 separate sets of like terms, but they'll both be on those diagonals. So let's go ahead and do this so I can show you, so you can actually see what I'm talking about. So I've got 7n times n squared is 7n cubed, because n squared gives me 2 n's, and that 7n gives me 1 n, and that together that gives me 3 n's, so that's n cubed. Okay, 7n times negative 10n is negative 70n squared. Ooh, 7n times 15. We're going to have to get out the calculator. 15 times 7, negative 105n. Okay, negative 1 times n squared is negative n squared. Negative 1 times negative 10 is positive 10n, and negative 1 times 15 is negative 15. So look, I've got a set of like terms here. Here's my n squareds, and then here's my n's. So I'm going to add on my diagonals, and I get 7n cubed. We always still start with this first, we always still start here. And then we go here, and then here, and then here. So we're going diagonally here, 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 and here. And that's how I add them together. Oops. So negative 70n squared minus 1n squared would be negative 71n squared. Negative 10n plus 10n gives me negative 95n. And then minus 15. And there's my answer. Okay? A little bit more involved for this one. It takes a little bit more time. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a little bit more time to try and figure out what the answer to start recording. So I'm going to go ahead and do it with using the little rainbows or the foil. I don't even know what to call them. I could just call them little rainbows. Okay? That's what they kind of look like little rainbows, right? So so 3x times 5x squared is 15x cubed. And then 3x times negative 9 is negative 27x. And 3x times 1 is 3x. Okay, now I have to do the same thing, only I'm doing it with the negative 2. So negative 2 times 5x squared. Oops, this should be 27x squared, sorry. Okay, will be negative 10x squared, and negative 2 times negative 9x is 18x, and negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. And notice I kind of shifted them over, so I just made columns of the like terms when I did this. So I've got 15x cubed minus 37x squared plus 21x minus 2. And that's it. I don't care which way you do it. It doesn't bother me. Whichever way you like better, do it that way. Either the multiplication table, the little foil arches, whatever you want to, the little rainbow arches, whatever you want to call them. Whichever way you like it, do it that way, okay? You have 9 questions, 9 on Delta Math, okay? And then I think there's only one person that has all of their work, and all of it done at 100% done in this class. So the rest of you, once you get those 9 questions done, please keep working on the rest of your work. You'll notice when you open Delta Math that everything is now green again. because I went and opened everything back up so you'd get full credit for it. So you might have to search for the 8.5 lesson. It has today's date on it, 1/14. It's probably at the bottom. Okay, so when you open Delta Math, everything will be open again. Everything will be green.
To me, everything's all blue.
Yeah.